You guys get that on camera? I want to talk about how to apply for these jobs. Do you go through an agent, which a lot of people seem to be doing for some reason, or do you go directly through websites in the schools themselves? I'm going to show you 7 or 8 different websites where you can actually apply for jobs here in Vietnam while you're still at home. You still have time to get in here where it's still quite easy to get a job. You wait until 2025 to come out here and be a teacher. It is going to be the hardest time ever to actually get a job. Once you build that CV in Vietnam, where you've taught in Vietnam for a big school or a government school or university, you have the highest chance of getting rehired than anybody else. What is required to actually work here in Vietnam? It's quite simple. I'll keep this short. You need a 4-year degree. You need a 120-hour TEFL. Check the link below where you can do this stuff while you're still in your home country online. Get it done before you come out here. If you come out to Vietnam without a TEFL, it's going to cost you a lot. There's some live classes in Saigon that you can pay for and whatnot. They're all expensive. You have to pay for your own cost of living. And they don't teach you anything different that you wouldn't get through this program I'm offering you. So you can do it at home over the weekend. And your CV should be strictly focused on teaching English and how you could benefit the school. I've been sent a lot of CVs in this last week and a half, as I've told you guys too on the old video. And every CV I've gotten has never been less than 2 pages. Vietnam staff don't care. Most of them can't even read half that stuff. One of the CVs I saw, a guy was a construction worker, right? His whole CV was that. And as I'm reading it, I'm just thinking to myself, like, who cares? Like, that's an impressive CV if you're trying to work for a construction company or if you're trying to be like a foreman or something like that. Great. That's an awesome thing. But for being an English teacher and a Vietnamese person reading that, they're going to be like, what the hell is this? Make sure you have a top CV. Your cover letter should be dedicated to each school. You should write a different cover letter for each job you apply for. And finally, you should have your 4-year bachelor's degree. In regards to medical police checks, I just do them here, man. If you are already back home, do the background check there. That's fine. The medical check, you have to do it in Vietnam. It costs about $10 and it takes about 2 hours. So when you do finally get out here, the big question comes up a lot. What is the pay? What are the benefits? What is the cost of living? And how much can you actually save? So working out here in Vietnam, you're probably going to make between $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Some jobs will be like $1,000. Ideally, you're looking at about $20 an hour. Quite the normal thing. If you're not a native speaker, it can be about $300 to $350. If you're doing private jobs, you can look between $400 to $600, but those are very unstable. You might get like 5 or 6 a month at most, so it's not something you can rely on. In regards to benefits, most jobs give you health benefits that suck. Don't expect any. Like, really don't. You can debate with them all you want. It's just not normal in Vietnam to offer benefits. Even the citizens don't really get benefits, so keep that in mind. In regards to cost of living, you're looking, if you're just living like a minimalist, normal life, $300 to $500 a month, easy. If you're looking to spend, if you're a heavy drinker and whatnot, you're looking at about $800 to $1,200 a month. Simple as that. You can save pretty well. If you need to send me money back home to your checking account, it's quite hard. You're gonna have to meet people. I know you can use PayPal, but PayPal starts taxing you after like $600. And Western Union out here, it's really just for receiving, it's not for sending. Vietnam banks don't let you export money. Even for Vietnamese citizens, it's very hard. And if you're walking in there as an American or Canadian English teacher, and you're like, I want to send my salary back to Canada or America or South Africa, they're going to ask you for a lot of documents. And then after the documents, they're going to be like, oh yeah, we can't do that for you. Just assume you can't do it. Crypto is probably the only way you can do it as of right now. The government really hasn't figured a way to stop it because you can just go find a Vietnamese person. You'd be like, yo, I'll give you 10 million Vietnamese cash. Can you just go ahead and USDT it over? Because they have access to transfer money into it. Anyways, let's get to the actual job. So when you apply for a job, it's pretty straightforward. You send your CV, you're going to send your TEFL. A lot of these places like agents, for example, they're going to want copies of your passport, visas, certification, your degree, a cover sheet, and they're going to want some kind of like introduction video. Do this with care. The idea that you have to send your private information to even be considered for these jobs, you're not getting the job. The agents don't work for these schools. Also does visas, they do background check processes for you, all these different services. And they typically use our information as marketing advert. And they don't understand that Western people, we typically see that as a bad thing. And their market is Western people. But that's kind of Vietnam though. Like Vietnam doesn't really understand how the world works. They market to us, Western people, like we are Vietnamese. What I personally do, because I've had to send this stuff a few times, I black out stuff. And I will tell them, when we get through the interview process, I will give you the full information in regards to the degree and the TEFL. I will give you the certified version during the interview. This is kind of risky sometimes because some people might be like, no, you're not worth it. And it'll be a call-in or it'll be like a Skype call or something like that. and they'll just do a quick 20-30 minute interview with you. Typically it'll be done with a native speaker, and they're just going to ask you some like generic ass stupid questions like, well, what do you do when a student acts bad, you know, like stuff like that. Just say what you think they want to hear. I know that sounds horrible, but literally just do that. As long as you're not saying like, I'm going to beat the hell out of the kids. Like, don't say stupid stuff, guys. But once you get past that spot, your next step is a demo lesson. A demo lesson, you're either going to teach in front of the staff or you're going to teach actual students. Teach like a normal class, go in there, get your material. They'll either give you the material or you'll have to write your own. You'll know this during the whole process because they'll tell you. Just teach it like a normal class until they stop you. Once you finish, they're going to be like, cool, thank you. They'll give you some feedback. And it's pretty much goodbye. Like you walk out the building, you go home, do what you gotta do. At this point, within 1 to 3 days, you should get an email or a text message saying, hey, everything was good. If you have any questions on lesson plans, activities, how to write these lesson plans, you want some ready to use ones, check the links below. I've written all these books for you guys. So the last part we need to talk about is where to apply and how. Now in Vietnam, there's two main ways. You have agents and then you have websites. Agents, I strongly suggest staying the hell away from them. Typically when you're talking to these agents, they don't know anything about the job. They're just kind of regurgitating stuff. Again, I have friends that are agents, and typically what they'll do is they'll go to Facebook, they'll see an owner posting a job or a school posting a job. Then they'll go to Facebook or Zalo, and they'll start posting the jobs, and they'll up the salary a little so they can take commission, or they'll lower the salary so they take commission. Once you contact this agent, they're just going to regurgitate what they saw in the ad. So they don't know the details. And this is where things get kind of weird because you're going to be misled non-intentionally into jobs that you might not have expected. This is why it's very important during your demo lesson when they ask, do you have any questions? Or during the first interview with the native teacher, ask those questions. Don't debate salary. Ask what it is, that's fine, but don't debate it. But ask the questions that you might be curious about, like, do I need to drive to different schools? Do you guys provide materials? Do I need to write lesson plans? What is the dress code, etc., etc., etc. Ask that stuff right there. Working with an agent, it's just a gamble. They're not dishonest by nature, they're dishonest because they're ignorant. If you want a serious job, I strongly suggest going to their website. So what I want to do here real quick is I'm going to load up a little window here for you, and I'm going to share with you guys some websites that you could go to that you can apply for these jobs. It'll give you the pay, salary, it'll give you the benefits, it'll give you everything you need to know about the position before you apply for it. Because a lot of these schools, like EMG for example, teach science. And if you have a math degree or a science degree or engineering degree, you can actually almost double your salary start pay just because of that. All right, and if you go to ila.edu.vn, this will bring you here, are you a non-academic or for foreign teacher? So you just go to the foreign teacher spot here. Now you want to have your CV and you want to have all your documents kind of put together beforehand. And when you're applying for this, and you kind of see here, let's kind of go through ILA. I'll go through ILA as an example, and then the other schools I'll kind of jump through real fast. Nobody cares. A lot of this stuff's just made up. I'm getting so much trouble. But these are the different locations: Haiphong, Hoi An, Binh Thuan, Long Thanh, Bà Rịa. And then when it comes to applying, let's go to just kind of go through the process. So 3-year bachelor's degree. I know some countries 3 years is I think it's like Sweden or something like that. But yeah, you need a bachelor's degree. Having a 3-year degree that isn't a bachelor's does not count. And then you just need a TEFL. Level 4 is 120 hours. Experience, it doesn't, again, matter. And then when we get to benefits, again, benefits aren't normal. For bigger schools, though, they can actually be normal. And the first thing I saw here is the health insurance is crap. But in regards to like work permits and stuff like that, though, they typically cover that up to 6-night accommodations on arrival. Now, this is really cool for you guys that are in like America or Canada or something. You're flying out here. Like they'll actually help you out when you first get here, which is really cool thing about ILA. Is a lot of schools, when you get here, they're just like, I don't know, go find somewhere to live, bro. Like, figure it out on your own. ILA will actually go their way for you. $500 an hour, like we talked about before. This is about $20 an hour. Contract completion, sign-on bonuses. These typically happen, like, if you can do the full year, or I think it's like 13 months or something like that, they'll give you a little bonus. This is something I had when I first moved to Vietnam. I worked at this school called Major, and they paid, like, they gave me, like, $6 or $7 million a month. It was, like, a couple $100 a month. My rent was, like, $5 million. So, like, I had free housing because of that. And then ongoing training, you can move up in these schools, especially with these bigger ones. You become like a senior teacher stuff. The pay is pretty much, it's a little more, but you're more in charge of people than you are teaching. You're still teaching, but you're not teaching as much. So that's kind of on you if you want to go that route. Everyone I talk to that moves to those positions, they typically like them. It is mostly because they don't have to teach as much, and they can really make a bigger impact on the overall teachers, and they're part of the hiring process. So next one is EMG. ILA and EMG, I think, are probably the two best to apply for when you first get here. I like how EMG just does like this Chinese stuff though. It's like, look at all these people and their pictures. Like, nobody cares, bro. EMG has a science program. So if you have an engineering degree, or if you can just talk your way into teaching science, you typically get like 10 to 15 million more a month, like an extra $200 to $400 a month to teach science. And hey, I know that guy. That's kind of cool, actually. And this kind of brings up another thing too. They transport you everywhere to EMG. So the benefits of EMG are a tad different. Let's see if it actually gives us some of the benefits here. Let's look. Because the EMG and ILA, I think, have some of the best benefits. After these guys, it kind of just turns into like a shit show. They'll be like, we're giving you free school lunch, but it's the same thing the kids eat, the kids hate it. You know what I mean? So like, why are you doing this? And in regards to what you need, you just need your name, your email, and you're applying to teach in, like, let's say a city, and yeah, you guys get the idea. And then obviously your CV and your cover letter need to be in there. And EMG, again, teach.emg.vn is where you want to go. The next one is VUS. VUS, I'm going to keep short. It's hit and miss. During the pandemic, they actually shit on all their staff. They were refusing salaries because the parents refused to pay, but the parents had no reason to pay because the government said you have to close the English center. So the parents were like, what are we paying for? So they kind of like stiffed everybody. Overall, it's not a bad school though, but if there's any like emergency going on, they will stiff you in a heartbeat. Going over to the next one's Apollo. This is actually a Japanese originated school. It's not bad. This is more of like a northern Vietnam, but you're pretty much you're in a small. You're in a building. It's just like it's a bunch of primary stuff, but you're just teaching kids basic English. It's not a bad school. I would definitely look into that. Next one's Wall Street. Wall Street focuses on adults mostly. The classrooms are all between 5 to 7 kids. Wall Street's mission, per se, at their school is you will learn English in like 2 or 3 months. Really good school. It's typically a part-time job though, so don't expect to make a lot at this school because you're not gonna have a lot of hours. Next one is Scots. Scots is more North Vietnam. They're not actually bad because they write your lesson plans. They pretty much put everything together and you don't have to have office hours. You just go to the school. You teach your classes, you go home. Now, there's a lot of schools that will use names that are, let's say, not real. So this is an American Academy school. This is a media owned by the Vietnamese government. I don't know why they're sponsoring this school. But what a lot of these schools are is they will use international names, like American International School, Canadian International. It's called Aussie International School. It's in Saigon. This is one of the, not fake, but it's not associated to an American education system. It's not part of the board or anything like that. So you do need to be careful with that. The reason I say this is because international schools are awesome, dude. They pay like $4,000 to $5,000 a month. They do have office hours, but they require you to actually be certified as a teacher in America to be a teacher here, or at least have a master's degree. So do keep that in mind. ama.edu.vn, check it out. I've heard about it. It's not a bad school, but it is not an international school, so you don't get all the huge benefits. You don't get the high pay. International schools' benefits are huge, bro. So, but that's kind of it, man. I think we've hit all the points today on what to look for. Hopefully this helps you find a job. You know what to look for, why you should be out here, what you should have to even apply, what to look forward to when you do apply for the job, and where to actually apply. So if you have any more questions, let me know. I think we're good for the day, guys. So till then, I will see you again.